to today's video as a live, partly because this is a little bit more intimidating for me. And I think it's really helpful to get out of my comfort zone now and then. That's where I always tell people all the magic happens outside your comfort zone. So, a few days ago, I put out a video about the winter blues, about feeling a sort of a sadness or a heaviness, particularly around this time of year. And this is a subject that is so near and dear to my heart because I struggled with the depression for the first 4 decades of my life, really, and from as early as I can remember in my childhood until just a few years ago when I learned hypnosis. And I did not learn hypnosis to help myself with depression. I learned hypnosis to help myself with my weight, my battles with my weight. And the completely unexpected side effect was that it eradicated years, decades of depression. And I'm talking, I have been diagnosed with severe clinical depression multiple times. I would go through the day when I was a hairstylist, I would be working with clients and I would work 13-hour shifts. And I remember just like fantasizing about just going home and curling up in the fetal position in bed and sleeping. Just almost, it was like this heaviness. Like I felt like a rock monster was sitting on my shoulders and it was almost hard to move. And, there's this expression that says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I would think to myself, if only I could find my bootstraps, I would be able to pull myself up. And it was such an overwhelming, hopeless decision where you don't really feel excited about tomorrow. You're not sure what they're like, it's like I lost my purpose for living. I never struggled with feeling suicidal personally. I just felt a despair of being alive, like life was pointless. So now that I have learned some of these powerful, powerful tools that let me step out of that state, and I still slip back in from time to time. I still experience moments of gloominess and sadness, especially this time of year when the skies are a little more overcast. The leaves are falling from the tree. There's a chill in the air, depending on what part of the world you're in. And I want to share some of these tools today because several people have said that they're struggling with the same thing. And be watching this space. If I'm going to be doing a session, a group session, a formal group session on eradicating depression and sadness and winter blues in the next few weeks. And so if you're interested in that, make a comment below this video or private message me and I'll make sure that you're included in the invite when I get that put together. But I want to give you something right now. So if you watch this right now, I believe that I can show you how to create a really amazing shift for yourself. And I see that there are 9 people watching right now. I don't know who you are, but I just want to acknowledge you and tell you thank you for being here. And I would love for you to actually play along with me right now. Just whatever brought you here, whatever was distracting you before, just imagine setting it to the side and just being fully present. I anticipate this will take 5, maybe 10 minutes, and I believe that it can absolutely change your day and potentially even change your life if you use these tools regularly. So what I'd like you to do is start by just noticing how you're feeling. If you're feeling sort of sad or depressed or gloomy right now, just tap in and notice that feeling in your body. Maybe notice the thoughts that are going through your mind, the feeling of that black cloud or that heavy monster on your shoulders or those discouraged thoughts. And imagine that you could just scan your body right now and notice where in your body you feel that feeling the most. And now I'd like you to rate the intensity of that feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being almost imperceptible and 10 being absolutely through the roof. Just give it a rating right now and it's okay to guess. Okay, so now I want you to imagine that you could just drop down into that feeling and just observe it. And just say to that sensation in your body, I see you. And then think to yourself, I can feel this and be okay. I can feel this and be okay. And just notice how your body responds to that thought. Notice how things have started to shift just a little bit. When we resist something, there's a saying that says what you resist persists. And when we're afraid of that feeling and we wish it would go away and we're trying to ignore it, it actually keeps it stuck in the body. And when you simply drop in and acknowledge it and say, oh, there you are, I see you, it allows it to start to loosen. You might even notice yourself starting to sigh a little bit, starting to let your shoulders relax a little bit more, maybe noticing a lightness in your chest. And that's just the beginning. So I want to teach you an incredibly powerful tool right now. This is especially useful also for anxiety, for feelings of stress, but it can also be really useful if you're feeling depressed. And this is something I learned from Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist at Harvard, and it's called a physiological sigh. And if you've ever seen someone crying really hard, maybe you've done this yourself, crying really hard, and when they're starting to calm down, they go, or I was holding my little grandbaby the other day, and she did this just as she was starting to fall asleep, this. And what it does is it actually offloads stress chemicals from the body and allows your body to return to a place of peace and go into what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which releases chemicals of rest and relaxation. So go ahead and try this with me now. It's a sharp inhale through the nose, a double inhale in, and then a sigh. So do this with me right now. Let's do one more, okay? And Andrew Huberman says there's really no reason to do more than 3 of these. So that's a trick that you can use anytime throughout the day. If you notice that heaviness or you notice a sadness, you can do that physiological sigh to start to release those stress hormones and stress chemicals from the body and replace them with peace chemicals and signals of peace to the body. So before we move into the next step, which is one of my favorites, I want you just to check back in to that feeling that you noticed at the beginning and notice how the intensity has changed on a scale of 1 to 10. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to bring you into a trance. And this is going to be a trance that you're in with your eyes wide open. You go into these kinds of trances all the time. If you've ever watched a movie on TV or at the movie theater and you're so engrossed in that experience, your eyes are wide open, but you jump when the bad guy comes out or you cry when the family pet dies. That happens because you are so focused and immersed in an experience and using your imagination that your body is responding. So right now I'm going to bring you into a really peaceful hypnotic trance with your eyes open. So what I'd like you to do is just stare at a spot that's in front of you and maybe a little bit above you, or you could even stare at my forehead if you want to. Just stare at one spot and focus intently and intensely on that spot. And then just allow your gaze to soften, almost as if you're just kind of zoning out. And as you continue to focus on that spot, just become aware of some of the shapes and colors in the room around you. Perhaps just naming some of the objects that you are aware of in your peripheral vision as you continue to gaze at that spot. Notice how peace is already becoming more and more apparent. And as you continue to gaze at that spot, just become aware of some of the sounds that are in your environment. I'll be quiet for a moment as you just notice and note the sounds that are happening around you. And now just bring into your experience the sensation of being supported by the surface beneath you. As you continue to gaze at that spot, notice the sensation of your clothing touching your skin. Notice the rate of your breathing, how it has slowed as you've been watching this. Notice the sensation of your tongue inside your mouth, and allow your jaw to relax, your teeth to separate, and imagine that your tongue becomes heavy and just rests on the floor of your mouth. As you continue to gaze at that spot, Just notice your breathing. Perhaps allowing it to slow down just a little bit as you relax into this moment. This is a trance. You are in a place where you can give yourself a powerful, positive suggestion. So just think to yourself right now, I am here. And all is well. I am okay in this moment. And this moment is all we have. Okay, so now I would like you to lift your eyes, look up, lift your chin. Imagine that a magic string is pulling you up from the top of your head, and it's allowing your bones to align and your shoulders to relax, almost as if you were a marionette on a string, just relaxing with a beautiful posture, a comfortable posture, a lifting. Looking up, lifting your chin. And if you're in a place where you can do this, outstretch your arms and smile. I don't care if you feel ridiculous. I do care, but do it even if you feel ridiculous. Smile big, look up, and just think to yourself, I am okay. All is well. I can do this. If you played along with me, thank you so much. I see Susie saying I'm playing along. Thank you so much, Susie. And Suzanne from Denmark, I'm so grateful to see you here. Everyone else who's watching, this is a powerful, powerful technique. I think there might be a way for you to bookmark this video. I can't tell you how. And come back anytime you need to pick me up. Comment below this video or private message me if you want me to invite you to my group session that I'll be doing about depression and turning depression into joy. I am a person who 20 years ago, I had a family friend say, I can't stand to be around you because you're always negative and you're always down. And it was like a punch in the stomach. And I felt so awful because I was trying to be happy and I was failing. And now I have people say, I can't imagine you that way. You're such a bubbly, happy person. And it has been this identity shift where I was able to stop trying to find a reason to feel hopeful in the world. And it's now to the point where I have my moments. I do have my moments. But I find the joy in life, and I have changed in so many ways. And if you're a person who has overcome depression and who has gotten better, and sometimes you still sink back into that dark place, don't do what I have done in the past and tell yourself a story that you are broken or there's something wrong with you. The truth of the matter is that your body has just slipped back into an old pattern, that you're just recycling and re-remembering something that you used to be really good at. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that something bad is about to happen. It just simply means that you are recycling an old emotion from the past. And I think there's something really liberating about acknowledging that and finding a way to do something that is as simple as what I call changing your 3 Bs. I think this is the most powerful form of self-hypnosis in the whole world. And you all just did it if you were playing along with me. So the 3 Bs are to change your body language, your breathing, and your beliefs. And this seems like a scary one, like changing my beliefs seems really hard, but all beliefs are is your self-talk. And we are always doing it. We're always saying something to ourselves, often unconsciously. We don't realize we're saying it, but every mood, every emotion has a certain set of unconscious self-talk that goes along with it. So when you change your body language by doing this like you did a moment ago, or even just sit up a little bit straighter and imagine that string is pulling you up from the top of your head, and then you change your breathing and you breathe powerfully, maybe from low in the belly, and you start to tell yourself, I can do this, I am okay, I can feel this and be okay. All of a sudden something shifts. Your unconscious mind really wants to believe the things you say to yourself. And when you start telling yourself powerful things, especially if you're in that trancey state that we used just a moment ago, that's a powerful time to give yourself positive suggestions. You can do this, and I am here for you. Reach out to me anytime if you need extra help or support or encouragement. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. And if I can figure this out, I'm going to end this video now.